morning, class. Today we'll be talking about bullying, more specifically what exactly is bullying, getting into terms like the victim and the actual bully themselves, what it is, and then what should you do if you yourself are bullied or you see somebody that is being bullied. So to start today, we're going to watch this quick video on bullying prevention and tips to stop bullying. So it'll work.
Standing up and stomping out bullying. There are three main ways that bullying happens. There is verbal, physical, and social bullying. Physical bullying is where the bully touches another person to hurt them, like if someone were to push another student, kick them with their feet, or hit them with their hands. Examples of verbal bullying can be writing things on the internet or on paper. It can also be calling someone mean things like, "You're fat," "I hate you," and things like that. There is also social bullying. This happens when the bully or bullies spread rumors, telling other kids not to be friends or talk to the person being bullied, not including someone in events and things like that too. With bullying, it can be nonstop and may happen in school, your neighborhood, or on the internet. When someone is being bullied, it can cause injuries, loss of appetite, loss of sleep, bad grades in school, and even some kids drop out because they get tired of being bullied. Now that you see how bullying hurts, this is where you can make a difference with 5 ways to stop bullying. Number 1, don't ignore somebody who's a bully to you or bullying others. Like we've talked about before, bullying hurts, so don't walk away thinking it is harmless or doesn't hurt anybody. When you see bullying, do something about it. Tip number 2 is, you should be an example of someone that everyone knows stands up against bullying. Don't be afraid to let others know that you are a leader in stopping bullying. Each day, be kind and treat others how you want to be treated, and come to those in need. Tip number 3, when you see bullying or even are being bullied, let the person or persons who are doing the bullying know that how they are acting is not okay. A lot of bullies want to be seen and have an audience for their bad behavior. By letting them know that their behavior is not okay, that lets the bully know that you want to stand up. And remember, when confronting the bully, don't use harmful words or get physical. Stay calm and be respectful when standing up. Now, tip 4, if that didn't work, is if some things keep on going on, bring in a teacher, a counselor, or a principal at your school and get them involved. Those at the school can work to create a safe place at school because school should be a bully-free zone. It is the same thing like if you were in class and needed help on a homework assignment. You ask the teacher for help. Just like that, you do the same with bullying to keep people from bullying not only you, but others in the school. Now, moving on, tip number 5. If you need additional help, let a parent, guardian, or trusted adult know. This works well when maybe it's not at school, but out in the community or at a community center. You can let an older person know so that they can help out to stomp out bullying and let that bully know that what they are doing is not okay. Well, that is all from me here on Welcome to Fredericksburg, reminding you that bullying is not okay and you should stand up and stomp out bullying. And I hope you had fun learning with FRESB.
Alright, so here's a couple questions. Just turn to your neighbor next to you. It sounds like you want to join Leslie up front. You just kind of answer the following questions. You can write them down or just discuss them. Take about 2 minutes to do this. So the first one, in your own words, 2 to 3 sentences. What is bullying? Based on the video of things you've seen, what do you think bullying is? So come up with your own definition. And what are the 3 types of bullying that were in the video? And which one do you think would be worse and why? So take just a couple minutes just to think about those. I know you guys know. Physical concerns that you guys done. You guys ready? Okay, so let's just go around. So what did you guys say about your definition of bullying?
Bullying is the mistreatment of a person by another individual.
Right, so you have both sides. You have the one person who's mistreating another person, so there has to be both sides. What did you guys have for the number one?
What is bullying?
Yeah.
We talked about when we're playing Fortnite and Mr. Moss and others makes fun of us for not being that good.
Okay, so that might be social bullying, right? That's one of the examples that ties into number two. Okay, so the person is verbally abusing somebody. Okay, and Amanda, what did you guys have?
We said that bullying is harming someone, or what would we say? Like making fun of someone, or like you have an intent to like harm them physically or emotionally.
Alright, does anybody have feedback for that group, right? What kind of was a little bit different from what they said? There's one word that kind of sticks out. Right, they have the actual intent to hurt somebody, right? So they actually are going out to hurt somebody, right? There's that intended purpose to like beat me like they know they're doing it. Alright, and then if we can go around, right, we talked about social. I said before the social bullying. What were the other two? So for number two, there's social. What were the other two types of bullying?
Physical.
Physical, and then can we give an example of physical? Right, yeah. Punching, kicking like causes physical harm to somebody. And then what's the third one? Right, verbal, right? So verbal is saying mean things, and then we're social, which is like more or less leaving somebody out of doing an activity. Maybe not saying something, but your actions make the other person feel bad. And then, man, which one did your group say was the worst?
We chose verbal because we think it has the most emotional damage.
Okay, yeah. So maybe other people can't see the damage that the other person is feeling, right? So that's a good one. Eric, what did you guys say?
We said physical because it can also leave you emotionally scarred.
Yep, so there's kind of both sides, right? The physical thing, right? If somebody's doing it up, right, they may have to go see the nurse, go to the hospital, right? So there's both sides of that. All right, Leslie, what did you guys say?
I guess we could have decided verbal in the end just because, like, Amanda's group said, like, the emotional.
All right, good. So moving on, all right, we're gonna get into the definition of what is bullying. So bullying is when somebody repeatedly and on purpose says or does mean things that are hurtful to another person. So again, the big components of that is repeatedly and on purpose, right? They do it, right? It's not just a one-time thing, right? I think we all with our friends maybe make fun of each other once in a while. You know, that just happens just to show that we're friends, right? But if it's an ongoing thing and it makes you feel bad, right, then that is what we consider bullying, right? Bullies are people who say mean things, people who want to hurt others, and people who leave others out, right? So those are the three components of what bullying is. And then moving into who can be bullied, right? Bullying can happen to any one of us, right? Anyone can be a victim of bullying. And the victim of bullying is the person who the bullying is happening to, right? So if I'm saying mean things to Eric would be the victim of bullying, and I myself would be the bully. Sorry, and the other thing is that others who witness bullying, right, they may not know what to do. So again, same situation. If I'm bullying Eric, saying mean things to him, but Austin's sitting right there, right, he sees me do it, he might not know what to do, right? So we're gonna get into that in the letter of the presentation, all right? So here are the steps to stop bullying. If you yourself are being bullied, right, you wanna follow these 3 steps, all right? So the first step is to stop, right? What you wanna do there is tell the bully what they're doing is not okay. Tell them to stop what they're doing so they realize that this person doesn't like what I'm doing. Most of the time, bullies may not realize that what they're doing is hurtful, and they'll stop. All right, if this does not help, right, then you want to walk away, leave the situation if you can. You know, it's happening in school, in the hallway, right, walking to a classroom where there's a teacher, or walk to a different part of the hallway, and try not to give them a reaction, and definitely don't be, right, if they're trying to be physical with you, don't be physical back, because then that's just going to get you in trouble. And the last thing you want to do, if none of those two work, is to talk, right? You want to tell a trusted adult, which we'll talk about who those are later on, but you want to talk to your teachers, right? It happens at school, right? You want to talk to them right away, tell them what's going on. Go tell your mom and dad especially, right? Just talk to trusted people you have in your life. Yes, Eric?
What if it's the teacher that's bullying you?
If it's the teacher that's bullying you, then obviously you would want to go tell either another teacher or the principal, right? Take it to somebody that's higher up than that. All right? So any questions on that, on the 3 steps?
What if they like threaten to hurt you more if you tell someone?
Right, that's a very good question, right? Obviously, right, if they're going to threaten to hurt you more, right, then obviously they have the intent to keep doing what they're doing, right? You really want to go find those trusted adults that will take care of the situation, right? You always want to talk your feelings out, and the teachers and your parents, they'll be able to protect you, right? If the student is going to continually hurt you, right, they'll take that school, or that student and put them in another school to, right, your safety is more important than somebody who's trying to hurt you. That makes sense. Any other questions on that? All right, no. All right, moving on. So again, I talked about these trusted adults, but who are they, right? So the main ones in your family, the people in your like circle of trust. So your mom, dad, stepmom, stepdad, grandma, and grandpa, right? So these people, right, you can see almost every day, people that you know you can trust. And then people that, not your family, but are still trusted adults. So your teacher, myself, maybe other teachers you have throughout the day, your principal, the guidance counselor, and the school therapist, if you have one, are great people to go talk to about bullying. Sometimes if you have friends, right, you don't know who you can really talk to, right, talk to your friends, and they might be able to help you too, like go with you, go talk to the principal. And then the police, they also help with bullying as well. Right, if it gets to be physical and you have a police officer here at school, go talk to them and they'll help you as well. All right? So now here's a question I want you all to kind of think about. So what if you aren't the one being bullied, but you see someone else who is? Even if it's not your friend, if it's a new kid at school, right, what would you do? So just kind of take a minute to think about it. We'll kind of discuss that. All right, good. Seth, so if you were in this situation, right, you see, let's say your friend being bullied, how do you think you would handle that situation?
Find a trusted adult.
Right, find a trusted adult, tell them the situation, tell them what's going on, tell them you've seen this and that they need to be concerned about your friend, right? So, Amanda, what if, like, there's a new kid at school, let's say, in the same situation, you see them being bullied, but you don't really know them, How, do you react differently in that situation, or what do you think?
Personally, I feel like I would not intervene because I don't want to make an enemy of that bully, but I would go find a trusted adult.
All right, yep. So that's a very, very good point, right? That's a common thing that happens, right? You're afraid to intervene, get in the middle between the bully and the victim because you don't want to be bullied yourself, right? So it's okay to go just right to the nearest teacher, have this in the hallway, just go into the nearest classroom, find the teacher or the principal, and bring them out in the hallway and have them address the situation, all right? So, good. So now here's a video that talks about stopping bullies and standing up to bullies. Okay, it's going to give a situation, a real life situation that actually happened, so pay attention.
I had a best friend named Chloe. We hung out on the swings at recess, we sat together at lunch and traded sandwiches from time to time, and we always took the same bus home after school. We were like 2 peas in a pod, rarely separated. Well, that soon changed when Chloe got a boyfriend halfway through the year. He was a boy named Tom that was known as one of the school's biggest bullies. Everyone was extremely intimidated by him and tried to stay on his good side. Once, I had seen him throw a kid's backpack over the roof of the school for no reason. He just seemed to take pleasure in ruining people's days. So when Chloe asked me to sit with him and his friends at lunch every day, I couldn't say no. I didn't want to lose her as a friend, and I didn't want to upset him. So I pretended to support their relationship, even though I knew Tom was a bad guy. Well, one day a new girl named Jenna was introduced to our class. She looked very shy and nervous and had no one to sit with at lunch, so she sat by herself. I timidly asked Tom and his friends if I could invite her to sit with us, and they instantly started laughing, as if I had told them a hilarious joke. Tom then picked up a couple chips from his lunch and threw them over at her table where she was quietly reading a book. She looked startled but didn't try to stand up for herself. I remember feeling so bad for her in that moment, but I didn't have the courage to say anything. For the next week, Tom and his friends would bother her during lunchtime. They would roll up pieces of paper to throw in her hair and would constantly call her the weird loner girl. I was so shocked that Chloe was allowing her boyfriend to treat another human being this way. And I started feeling really embarrassed that I was sitting with these horrible bullies. Because by not standing up for Jenna, I looked like one too. So the next day I finally decided to make a change, even if I knew it would impact me negatively. So instead of sitting with Chloe and Tom, I went and sat beside Jenna. She looked really happy to finally have someone to keep her company. But right away, I noticed that Tom and his friends were giving me dirty looks and whispering to each other. And it didn't take long for them to start treating me the way they did her. Crumpled paper was thrown at me, and I was beginning to be called weird girl number 2. But all I can think was, at least Jenna isn't going through this alone. I finally decided that this was enough and took Jenna with me to see the principal. We tried the best we could to tell her what was happening, but she told us that if there was no proof of bullying, she couldn't do anything. Whenever a teacher was around, Tom would act normal, and the minute she left the room for a few minutes, he would continue harassing us. It was a very difficult time, but every time Jenna would tell me how thankful she was for my friendship, it was so worth it. So one day I heard that there was a hate page online about Jenna that was started by Tom and his friends. It had an unbelievable amount of likes and follows on it. They would take pictures of her and post them with terrible captions. They would quote things that she said and gossip about some of the things she did during the day. And as unfortunate and sick as it was finally the proof we needed to give to the principal. The police actually ended up getting involved, and Jenna was never picked on again after that. I'm very proud of myself for stepping out of my comfort zone to stand up for her, because if I didn't, I'm not sure if she would have had the confidence to do it herself. Some people need that extra push from someone else that is willing to support them. So if you ever see someone being bullied, don't just be a bystander, do something about it. Your actions could greatly change someone's life for the better.
So, again, from the video, right, there's the example of kind of Mary you brought up, right? She got involved and then she started being bullied herself, right? So, you gotta make sure that you're aware of that. But again, don't be afraid to stand up and go see the principal. One thing that, the video, I didn't like about it is that the principal said, oh, we really need the proof of it, right? They can't just take the student's word for it, right? Most of the time, right, if you come tell me, like, I'll believe you, and, most teachers will address the situation, go talk to that the bully right away to make sure that nothing's going on, So don't be afraid to come talk to us, right? In the video, right, there were all 3 examples of bullying, right? So the first example was physical, right? The bully threw his lunch at her, right? That could have hurt her, with chips into the back of the head. And there's a second one, right? Making fun of her, calling her weird names, and then social, right? Posting stuff on social media, right? So all 3 types of bullying were involved there. As you can see, right, they got multiple people involved, the principal right away. And then she also talked to her now new friend who pushed her to go talk to the principal, and then the police got involved because of the amount of bullying, all right? So again, just keep an eye out for those things, watching out for each other. Don't be afraid to speak up if you see bullying, all right? So now we're going to be getting into groups of 3 to go through these scenarios. Okay, let's look. Stuff you just go there. Let's let you go back there. All right, so I'll be giving you these different scenarios. All right, so you're just gonna read them. You're gonna get a couple minutes to kind of plan them out. All right, if you need my help, I'm gonna be coming back and forth. Right, just to assign names to each person, who you're gonna be. All right, and each of them is gonna have a bully, a victim, and then one other person in there, just to give a scenario of bullying, and you're gonna just describe and act out like what you would do in that situation. All right. So there's gonna be 10. All right. So let me get you off. Okay. So let me start. figure out with this situation what you can do, right? You guys got assigned names and all that stuff.
Yeah, but this is totally.
Who's Sally? Oh, no, wait, I want to do that.
I just throw it in there and try to put it. I don't apologize. I don't know.
Joe for justice of Brandon.
Sorry, this is my mouth part.
So, like, doing your on the playground, just go off. And then
And then you crumple it up.
Yeah.
You can't read milk anymore, huh?
such a
Yeah,
crazy.
but it's still like you.
I'm gonna soak it.
You ready?
Hmm?
You ready?
We gotta sit because Timothy Ludwig.
Are we role playing right now?
Yeah. Alright. Oh, wait, we're here as a group. Are you guys ready? Yes, no? You know
And
that?
then you walk away.
Yeah? Alright, so scenario one, you guys kind of come up here, you guys can go first, so I'll read it to the other group. So scenario one was, who's Tim? Right, Tim and Joe, who's Joe? Tim and Joe are friends, staying at lunch. Ben, who is Eric, is new at school and doesn't know anyone. To make a joke, Tim is going to throw an empty milk carton at Ben. Everyone is laughing in the lunchroom except for Joe and feels bad for Ben. Alright? So that's our first situation. Alright, so here we go.
Ah. Okay. I'm sorry, Tim didn't mean it. You made me cry.
I know. We should probably go talk to the principal to get some help.
Alright, good. Let's go to scenario two.
The scene is the playground. You're in my way, get out of the way. You're such a crybaby.
Hey, you need to leave her alone.